PPF or the Public Provident Fund is a household name in India. And why not? Its many benefits make it the go-to investment option for many investors. For instance, in terms of taxation, it's a triple E or exempt product. This means that the contribution in the PPF are tax exempt, the interest earned is also tax exempt, and the final maturity amount doesn't get taxed either. Moreover, whether you withdraw at maturity or before, the PPF enjoys the triple E status. Hello and welcome to ET Money's YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about the PPF. But before we begin, a quick reminder. Do subscribe to our channel and don't forget to click on the bell icon. Now, I'm sure you would have read a lot about this product. There are high chances that you have an active PPF account as well. So you probably know how to invest in PPF and what to expect from it. So we will not repeat that information, but instead focus on something most people don't know much about. That is what happens when your PPF account matures after 15 years. Now the government doesn't automatically transfer the money to your bank account. So what then? We will also talk about what happens if you want to close your PPF account before it matures and discuss a scenario wherein you want to make a premature withdrawal. Now this video is divided into 4 sections. What can you do with your PPF account post maturity? How can you make premature withdrawals from your PPF account? How can you close your account before its tenure of 15 years? And when is a PPF account discontinued and what can you do about it? But first, let's take a quick look at the key features of the PPF. Now, if you're interested in knowing more about these, you can watch our earlier video on PPF where we've explained all these things in detail. The link is added in the description. Let's start with the first section now. What happens with your PPF account post maturity? The tenure of a PPF account is 15 years. Well, to be precise, it's actually more than that because the period is calculated from the end of the financial year in which the deposit is made. So, if you make your first deposit in August 2023, the tenure will be calculated from the end of the financial year in March 2024. Consequently, your 15 years tenure will be completed on April 1, 2039 and not August 2038. But what happens at the end of it? Well, you have 3 options. The first is pretty straightforward. You withdraw the entire money and close the account. The second option is that you continue your PPF account without contributing to it, so whatever investments you made continue to grow. And then there is a third option. In this, you continue the PPF account beyond 15 years and keep investing like you have been doing. Now, in the second and third option, the account can be extended in the blocks of 5 years for any number of times. Alright, now let's understand these options one by one. The first option is closing your PPF account. This is a simple process. You just need to fill up and submit the account closure form at your bank or the post office where you have your PPF account. You can apply for the account closure and withdrawal of the corpus once your PPF account matures after 15 years. Now, who should go for this option? If you need the money after your PPF account matures, you can withdraw it and close the account. Or if you have a goal due for which you had been saving in the PPF, you can withdraw the amount. Now let's talk about the scenario wherein you don't need to withdraw the money. For example, you may have started the PPF when you were 30 years old. It will mature by the time you're 46. At that time, most people are at the peak of their careers. So you may want the money 10 or 15 years later, close to your retirement. If you want to extend your PPF, there are 2 options as we mentioned earlier. First, you don't invest fresh money, and second, you continue your contributions. Now let's understand these 2 options in detail, as each of these have some conditions that you need to fulfill. The conditions are simple, but you must know them so that you can accordingly plan your finances. Regulations allow you to extend the PPF account in blocks of 5 years only. You can extend it as many times as you want by filling up the required forms. Now, when you choose to extend without contribution, you will continue to earn interest during these 5 years and you don't have to make any additional contributions. So what are the conditions in this case? Once you decide to extend without contribution, you will need to stick to it. You cannot suddenly decide to contribute to your PPF. If you do make any contribution, they will treat it as irregular and will be refunded. You won't get any tax benefit from such contributions. You can withdraw any amount, but you can do it only once in a financial year. So if you have say 50 lakh rupees in your PPF account, you can withdraw 1000 or 20 lakhs or any other amount. The choice is entirely yours. So when should you opt for this option? So who should go for an extension of the PPF account without contribution? In general, if you don't need the money and are happy with the PPF as an investment avenue, you can continue. If you had made the PPF investment with a specific goal in mind and the goal is still a few years away, you can choose to stay invested and earn more returns. For instance, you may need the PPF money for your retirement, and when the PPF account matures, your retirement is still a few years away. In that case, you can continue to stay invested. Now, let's talk about the extension of PPF account with contribution and understand the conditions you need to follow in this option. If you want to continue contributing to the PPF account after completion of 50 years, you can opt for this option. Now let's understand the condition under this option. You will need to opt for this option within 1 year from the maturity of your PPF account. If you don't choose within this time, you cannot opt for this at a later date. The second condition is about withdrawals. Remember, when you choose the without contribution option, you can make withdrawals only once in a financial year from your PPF account. The same thing is applicable when you extend with contribution. However, you can't withdraw just any amount you wish. You can withdraw only up to 60% of the amount at the start of the 5-year extension period. Let's understand this with an example. Now, if you had 50 lakh in your PPF when you opted for an extension, you can withdraw up to 30 lakhs only. You can either withdraw this in one go or in multiple tranches, but there can be just one withdrawal in a financial year. So who should go for this option? If you started contributing to PPF early in your career, you can opt for this option. There was an example we discussed earlier where a person starts PPF at the age of 30 and it matures when he turns 46. So, extension with contribution will help such investors to benefit from the compounding of PPF. Now, let's say you invest 12,500 in PPF every month. If you get an average of 7% returns through the investment tenure, you will end up with a kitty of around 40 lakhs. On the other hand, if you continue to do this for 25 years, you will accumulate 1 crore. If you do this for 30 years, you will end up with 1.5 crore. And that's how compounding works. The more time you give your investment to grow, the better corpus you get to accumulate. This option is a must for parents who open a PPF account for their children. Now let's move to the next section of this video, premature withdrawals from your PPF account. Okay, so your PPF account hasn't completed 15 years, but you are in need of funds. What can you do? Of course, you can withdraw from the PPF account, and as we saw at the beginning of this video, these premature withdrawals are also tax-free, so you don't need to worry about the taxes. But these withdrawals are not so straightforward. First, you can make premature withdrawals from your PPF account only after the completion of 5 years. Do know that 5 year means 5 years completed financial years starting from the end of the financial year in which you made your first deposit. So technically, premature withdrawals are possible only from the 7th year of making the investment. For example, if you make your first PPF investment in August 2023, you can make a premature withdrawal only after April 1, 2029. There are some other requisites as well. 1. You can make only one premature withdrawal in a financial year. 2. You can withdraw either up to 50% of the account balance at the end of the financial year or 50% of the amount at the end of the 4th financial year preceding the year of the application, whichever is lower. For instance, if you make a premature withdrawal request in August 2023 and your PPF account has completed at least 5 financial years, you will get either 50% of the corpus at the end of FY23 or at the end of FY20, whichever is lower. Now you can make a premature withdrawal for any reason. There are no restrictions here. But what if you need to make a withdrawal before 5 years? Well, that's not possible. But you can sure opt for a loan against your PPF balance. Do check this video in the description for more details. Now let's talk about the premature closure of PPF account. We know that the maturity of a PPF account is 15 years. But what if we want to close it before that? Is it even possible? Yes, it is possible. But there are multiple conditions. First, you can close a PPF account only after it has completed 5 financial years. Second, it can be closed only for certain specified reasons. These include treatment of life-threatening disease of the account holder, their spouse or dependent children or parents, higher education of the account holder or dependent children, a change in residency status of the account holder. For each of these cases, appropriate documents have to be provided. For example, if you are closing the PPF account due to a change in residency status, A copy of your passport, visa, and income tax return is needed. Do note that when you prematurely close your account, the interest on your account is recalculated at a rate lower by 1%. This is applicable since the date of account opening or extension is applicable. So if you have been getting say 8% interest rate on the PPF all through the tenure, your interest will be recalculated at 7%. Now this 1% can add up to a lot in the long run. For instance, if you ran your PPF account for 10 years, invested 1.5 lakh in it on April 1 each year and earned 8% per annum, your corpus will be 23.46 lakh. Now, if you decide to close your account prematurely, the entire calculation will be done at 7%. So your corpus will get reduced to 22.17 lakh. So you will get around 1.29 lakh less. Now, the PPF account is also prematurely closed in case of the death of the account holder. Now, this brings us to the last section of this video. When is the PPF account discontinued? Let's take a look. Now, to keep your PPF account active, you must deposit at least 500 rupees in it in a financial year. And if you fail to do that, your account will be discontinued or deactivated. To revive a deactivated account, you will need to pay 50 plus 500 for each of the financial year during which the account has remained deactivated. As you would recall, this 500 is the minimum contribution amount for the PPF. For instance, if your account has stayed deactivated for 2 financial years, you will need to pay 1100. 100 as a penalty and 1000 as the minimum contribution. If an account has been discontinued, you cannot make premature withdrawals from it. Neither can you take a loan on such account. You cannot even open a new PPF account until you properly close a deactivated account. However, a discontinued PPF account continues to earn interest. And with this, we have come to the end of this video. If you like the video, do share it with your friends and family so we can reach more and more people. And I'll see you soon with another video.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.